And you will change your opinion or your personal feelings about your body or the way your body looks. But like, it's basically, if you start from 0 and you look at a picture of 100, you're like, fuck, that's insane. That's a big difference. But then the next day you're a 2, and the next week you're a 3.
The thing we cut out, it was like some really stupid thing too. I can't remember what it was. I don't know.
Not relevant.
How do you say your name?
My full name, Noortje.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can just call me Noor. I think that's easier as well.
Noor.
Yes.
Yeah,
Noor.
I think I saw that on a video from the No Shortcuts, and I thought like, is this is this how you pronounce the name, or is it just how do you say that in English? Like a nickname?
Like the phonetic. Oh yeah, the nickname. Yeah.
Yeah, nickname.
Yeah, that was probably one of the YouTube episodes, I think.
Yeah, and that's crazy because I had Tommy on lately.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and now you, and both of you, I had no idea that you were backups for the No Shortcuts team.
Yeah, we were
before the research. How was that? How was that coming?
Well, the original team is with Andre and Julia and Julian and Nienke. And Nienke is, of course, also a Dutch athlete, and we're friends. So when they were establishing the team, they were also thinking about backup athletes. And then, I mean, Andre obviously asked around, like we want like on-level athletes as a backup, but also people that we would like naturally get along with and that we trust and that stuff. So he also asked Nienke, like, hey, do you maybe know any female athletes? And she, basically called my name out, and then we got into contact and got everything settled.
Interesting. Yeah. Is that in the Netherlands? Is the community of like the top athletes really tight? Or is that just a coincidence that that you guys know each other?
No, I mean, like, we've both been in the sport. I think she started like 1 or 2 years before me. But like, we've been in the sport for quite a while now together. And just as you get to know like more of international athletes, like also obviously the national athletes, you're going to be at competitions together. I mean, yeah, you're just going to know each other through a leaderboard. Like, she lives in Amsterdam, or lived in Amsterdam. I live quite close to Amsterdam. So like, yeah, naturally you're just going to run into each other and sometimes train together. And yeah, you just grow that relationship over time if you just get along personally with the athlete as well. And yeah, Nienke and I get along really well. So that was also fun to share that experience with her.
And are you happy that your backup status wasn't needed?
No, I mean, like, obviously for the team, I'm very happy that my backup status wasn't needed. Like, they wanted to do the team, and you just want the team to be healthy and perform in the way they intended to. So yeah, I'm obviously going to be happy that no one dropped out for any reason, any physical or mental reason. So yes, I'm happy that I didn't have to fill in. But if for any reason, like, it would have happened, it would have been like an amazing opportunity for me. So yeah. But no,
have you been on teams before?
For smaller competitions, yeah, but not for or actually I did when it was still Sanctionals, before the semifinals thing, I did a team competition in 2019 at the Lowlands.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, yeah, just some local competitions in teams or duos or trios. But other than that, mainly individual.
So the Lowland was just a normal throwdown then?
No, it was one of the events that you could qualify for the games for.
Oh, like, that was the Sanctionals. Yeah. So you could basically like go on as many Sanctionals as you would like to.
Yep.
Before you can. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like where we had like the 20 or 25 worldwide Sanctionals.
Yeah.
And then if you placed like, I don't know, first or second or third. No, I don't think third. But yeah, then you would go to the games.
Oh man. That was, in my eyes, that was ridiculous that year. What do you think? Do you like the semifinals or the sanctional system better?
No, definitely semifinals.
Mm. And
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
this year with all the European athletes in one semifinal, or was the two semifinals better?
No, also everyone together. It just really brings back like
Interesting.
the old regionals vibe.
Yeah.
And like especially last year or the 2 years before, where all the semifinals also had different events. Like it's really hard
Mm.
to compare
Yeah.
the qualifying athletes. And right now, like everyone's in one place, everyone's doing the same thing at the same time. That just really takes out a lot of unknown variables. So I really think that's a much better comparison of getting in this case, 11 fittest athletes to the games.
You couldn't get lucky at one event, or
No.
everyone is doing the same thing. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
sanctions, it was funny. Like I remember, like Brent Fikowski traveling to Asia to do the
Right.
sanctional, to just run away with it, all first places and
Yeah.
nothing. It was ridiculous. Or other
Yeah.
athletes like basically like competing in like 5 or 7 sanctionals before they qualified, and then they were completely burned out at the games because
Yeah.
they were competing for like, I don't know,
It was just a weird
3 months,
system, really.
3 months up to it.
I
Yeah,
mean, I guess the
interesting.
idea was fun to have like more elite level competitions and to
Mm,
kind of have like that competition vibe all year round. And
yeah.
yeah, to just have a bit more of exciting things to watch for the fans. But from an athlete perspective, it's just no, it's a weird system.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
I
is
don't know.
better.
And I don't know if it's like for us, for the spectators, if it's more like enjoyable. I mean,
No, it was
the
also very
semifinal this
random.
year, yeah, it was random because you had like only a handful of like really good athletes at one place, and this year it was like, for me
That
it
was
was like
packed.
yeah, for me it was the most exciting and like packed CrossFit qualifying event in Europe up to date. It was amazing. Like everybody
Yeah,
was there, the stadium was packed. It was like
it
really
really
cool.
was, and the vibes were really good.
Yeah. It was basically, I heard another podcaster said it was a rock show.
It was a what show?
A rock show,
A rock.
like a rock concert.
Oh, a rock show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
basically like, sorry.
especially on like the Saturday and Sunday, like that's obviously the days
Mhm.
where it's going to be the busiest and the most packed with all the people. And like you could just feel the energy like rising whenever the top heats were going. It was really insane.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the
it's really
lights
cool.
on and everything. That was really
Yeah, for
cool.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
I think he basically like compared the American semifinals with the others, and he said like Europe and Australia, like Oceania, were rock shows, and we had like some, I don't know how he called it, but it wasn't that packed in America. That's what he was saying.
No, weirdly enough, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But tell me, how did you? Since when do you compete?
I started my first competition in 2017. But that was like small local competition. And that year I think that was like I tried a couple of qualifiers before, but I didn't qualify. And that was the first competition I qualified for. And then the rest of the year I had some other competitions that I did and did not qualify for. So that was kind of, I guess, my startup year. And then from the summer of 2018, I started like more serious competition training. And then yeah, I slowly started qualifying for some bigger events. And then I think in 2019, I got to some of the bigger national events. And then, well, 2020, we all know what happened there. Yeah, 2020, 2021. And then from 22 onwards, it was, yeah, definitely some of the bigger European events for me as well, like the German, like the French, like Madrid. So that's when like I guess you could say like semi-professional career kind of kicked off. But my first official competition was in 2017.
And and I watched through Instagram, and it seems like, I don't know, when did you find the sport?
2016.
Yeah, because it seems like you've been competing like basically since the start, since you found it.
Almost, yeah, almost.
Was the first competition, was that beach throwdown? I went
No.
way back on your Instagram.
It seems like it. No, but I think that was my second, actually. I think that was my second competition.
That looks really cool. They were like
It was so fun.
Atlas stones in the sand and
Yeah,
things. That looks really cool.
yeah, it was so fun. Like the beach throwdown, they had the competition actually up until COVID, because after COVID or like in the COVID times they stopped, the organization stopped. But like before that, it was honestly like the most fun competition here in the Netherlands. All like the top athletes of the Netherlands would come in. It's duo competition, so it's it's like a bit of a more relaxed and a bit more fun vibe than your average individual competition. And it would always have like the things that you wouldn't do normally in any other competition. So like the stones, like sandbags, like sprints in the sand, like a run, swim, run in the sea, that kind of stuff. So that's, yeah, it's in a different way very fun.
Yeah, that looks really fun. We have something similar in Germany. It's called Battle the Beach.
Battle the
It's
beach, yeah,
also it's
yeah,
also
I know it.
on the sand. And I was watching these pictures and I thought, oh, there was something different, something like that in the Netherlands. That's interesting.
Yeah, two of
Because,
my friends actually competed at Battle the Beach last year.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
I think it's this year.
Yeah, I think so. August somewhere, yeah.
When I first saw pictures of that competition, like on Instagram, I was like, what the fuck is this? They're working out in the sand. That was,
Yeah.
is that way harder than on a normal floor?
Yeah, it's definitely harder. It's definitely harder. It's like it's much more difficult to find balance, because like this you're constantly shifting your feet in the sand.
Yeah.
But not only finding your own balance, but like if you're working with a barbell, you're not working with normal barbells, but you're working with axle bars, which is already
Mm.
more challenging. But then like if you have to drop the bar, like the plates will dig into the sand. So you're basically constantly doing deficit pulls or whatever. Or when you're
Digging out barbells out of the sand.
or if you're doing like I went this year and they had devil's presses. But like when you're dropping the dumbbells in the sand, they're obviously
Mm.
gonna dig themselves a hole. So
Yeah.
basically
Where does this
constantly
thing
doing
from?
deficit stuff. So it's not just your
Interesting.
own balance, but like also the equipment getting lost in the sand. That also doesn't help. But
Interesting.
yeah,
I
I
have to
guess that's
go.
like it's part of the fun.
I
It's
have to go to that event this year.
Yeah, they just had it actually, because this year they started with a new
Oh, really?
organization, but they just had it this
Mm.
year. So yeah,
Interesting. Where is it located? On the,
Scheveningen, the
is that
name that
up north or more in the east, or where is it? West.
um yeah, in the west, obviously at the coast. But it's quite in the middle of the Netherlands actually.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But they had
So
it was supposed
2000.
to be a 2-day competition, but the weather was like really bad on Saturday, or really bad. There was a lot of wind and some rain on Saturday already. And then it was forecasted to be like much worse storm things on Sunday. So the municipality actually forced them to close down
Shut
the
it
event.
down.
So yeah, that's really sad. But it was a fun
Interesting.
one day to watch. Yeah.
So 2016, how did you stumble over the sport?
Through one of my best friends, actually. We knew each other from high school. We weren't best friends back then yet. But he was doing like I was still in high school, and he was already doing his next education with like a sports background. And as like his final project, he had to guide one or two people through like a personal training session
Hmm.
to like get his final project approved. And I was one of those 2 people. So we basically started with like an intake session, and then he was like, okay, what do you want to do? And I was like, yeah, sure, I want to get stronger in my back squat, whatever, let's just try something. And that was also like really my first encounter with strength training, because I've never did that before. And it was, I think we did it for like 2 months ish. And at the end of the 2 months, I was like, this is fun. I improved a lot, and it was fun to get stronger, and it was fun to get more like fitter. So yeah, I basically just did it like once a week in the beginning, and then it like quickly became 2 sessions a week, and yeah, that kind of grew over time.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Like, yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
it was
that's
quite a casual encounter, actually.
yeah, that's a new story. I haven't heard a story like that before.
No.
And have you heard of CrossFit or this fitness thing before that, or were you just completely new to it?
No, completely new to it. Never heard of it before. No. I was
Interesting.
doing handball at the time.
Hmm. Is that
Yep.
your sports background, handball? Have you played that basically since a kid?
No, I also started quite late with handball, actually. I think I was 12, no, maybe a bit younger, 11 or 12 when I started. And
Is that
before
late?
that,
I have no
yeah,
idea about handball.
yeah. Well, usually kids like start their sport at like around 6 or 7.
Hmm.
But when I was like 6 or 7, I was dancing and horse riding
Hmm.
and just doing some other random shit. And then my sister started handball, and I was like, oh, that looks fun. Let me try that out. So that was basically my sport for about, I guess, 8 years, 10 years. And then I slowly rolled into CrossFit.
Interesting. Is your sister older or younger?
Younger, 2 years
Is it
younger.
your is it your only sibling?
No, I also have a younger brother. He is 21, almost turning 22.
Okay.
Yep. Family of 3.
Interesting. And your parents, did they do any like sports when they were little, or?
My mother was also really into handball. She was our coach for a while, actually. I played for, I think, maybe 4 or 5, even 6 years with my sister in a team, with my mom as sometimes as our coach or as our referee. That was fun. um, and my dad did volleyball for a long time, and he was also, like, in one way or another involved in the handball club. He was also a coach of my sister for quite a while. So definitely like an active family, but never like fitness related, or like anything elite sports related.
Interesting. Is handball like big in the Netherlands?
Yeah,
I've never
quite.
heard about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite big here, especially for women. I think men's handball is
Mm.
not as competitive or popular really among younger boys. Like here, all the boys go play football,
Yeah.
like soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, like, I think like the rate of athletes I had on the show from Europe who played soccer as a background is like it
Almost
must be
100%.
over 90%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially for the boys.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think like every position I had Michal Wesolowski on from Poland, and he was a
Hmm.
goalkeeper. So that was
Oh,
interesting.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was telling him, yeah, now I can basically like put a squad together from all the semifinals athletes, and we have a legit soccer team. And you're gonna be the goalkeeper. Yes, yes.
Oh, that
But
would be
that's
hilarious to see, though.
but that's interesting. Like I found this one post. I think it was like from International Women's Day or something.
Okay.
Let me
I'm
see.
curious.
I
Are
found
you
that
sure?
post.
Oh, yeah.
And that's always interesting for me because I studied photography, and one of my projects in the studies was like strong women, and also like functional fitness and CrossFit, and like how it's perceived in the media, like with photography and stuff.
Right.
And it's interesting for me that you said you haven't like touched a barbell or strength training before you went into this. Was that ever a thought of you, like these like stereotypical things, like, oh, I don't want to get too much muscles, or I don't want to look too bulky? Was that ever a thought of you, or was that never in your mind?
I guess, like, as I said, when I started, like, I never did any strength training. Like, my reference of women was what I saw at that time. So that's what you like see in the media, what you see at social media at that time. Like, I didn't follow any CrossFit women. I just followed, like, I guess your average woman, or like the average influencer and your average model. So I guess that was what I was looking at. So that was what looked normal or ideal for me. So when I started going into CrossFit, and you see like the pictures and the videos of the like elite games athletes, like I saw them as like, whoa, that's intense, man. I don't know if I ever want to look like that, because when you start the sport, and as a young girl, you started with more of like, or like you look at the pictures with, and you value them more based on like physical appearance, because you don't know or are not aware what's behind it, how much work is behind it, or how much performance and how much use of your body is behind it. And when you grow in the sport and you see more of, like, literally just see more images of strong women and more muscular women than your average woman, that's also when your reference starts to change, and you start to change yourself. So you start to change the way you look at yourself, and you look at the physical appearance, not just for the looks of it, but really like what's behind it. What can it do? What have I done to get to this point, or what have these women done to get to this point? You really start to respect, the work that's behind it and the function that comes with it, rather than just physical appearance. So for me, that really started to change that. In that sense, however I come to look like will be a reflection of what I will be able to do with that body. And since I want to be able to do more, I'm just going to keep looking a little bit different, I guess. But yeah, that's just a result and not really a goal in any way.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know the sentence, but someone always is telling, like, in my local box, when there's ever the thought of someone like, oh, I don't want to get too bulky, I don't want to look like this. And then I think the head coach is always telling these people, like, let's first see if you have the discipline to look like that. then you can decide if you want to do that or not. But basically, like 99% of the population can't look like that because they don't have the discipline.
No, with all due respect, you're not going to look like that overnight. So don't worry about that just yet. And that's the funny thing, because like the people that are worried about that up front, like if they would push through, they would see their body change, and they would be able to appreciate what their body does for them. And you will change your opinion or your personal feelings about your body, or the way your body looks. But like, it's basically, if you start from 0 and you look at a picture of 100, you're like, fuck, that's insane. That's a big difference. But then the next day you're a 2, and the next week you're a 3. And every step coming closer to that 100 will, like, it will seem less bizarre or less extreme or less intense. But you just can't see that yet when you're still at level 1. So I mean, it's understandable, but I hope people realize that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I don't know, because I think we are so in a bubble.
Very much. Very much.
So, and I think like the perception is like changing in the public too, but I basically, maybe we don't have an idea if that's true.
No, maybe we think it's changing, but then we're still in that bubble thinking it's changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That
but
could be.
I hope so. In like I think it's only a healthy way. Like not everyone has to be like a top elite athlete, be in the gym 8 days a week, 12 sessions a week, blah, blah, blah. Not everyone has to do that. Not everyone has to have visual abs, or not everyone has to have, well, you name it. But just getting more healthy and seeing more images on a regular basis of healthy looking bodies, that'll only be a good thing. And I hope it's changing that way, because that will make like the people that are at that level 1 that I just mentioned go to a level 10 or a level 20, where the extreme athletes or the extreme physiques won't be critiqued in that way anymore.
Yeah. For me, it definitely changed like big time since I found this thing. Like my view on strength or the body in itself, like you said, it completely changed. And the body's a trippy thing. It can do some amazing things. And it's really good.
Yeah, it really is. And I can definitely say for me that changed as well. I think like for a lot of young girls, like also me, I was looking at like the Victoria's Secret type models. And when I was like younger, like I had that thing where I would feel like, oh, I'm getting fat, and I'm getting bigger, and I'm getting heavier, and like my centimeters are growing. Help! What do I need to do? I need to eat less. I need to do more this. I need to do less that. And that is just a really unhealthy way of looking at your body, or looking at your like self-worth in that sense. So for me, when it started to become more focused around what it can do rather than what it looks like, that's for me when also another, I guess, level of like self-confidence really came in. And yeah, not just for me, but for anyone, I think that would really be a good thing.
Yeah. Were you like comfortable with all the different like movements at the beginning? Because I had Lisa Eble from Germany on, and she had a background of a gymnast, and she was saying she was really uncomfortable with the barbell movements at first, for the same reasons, like with body images and things. But she was like, yeah, I find it really interesting and love this sport, but the barbell movements, they were bothering me at the beginning. Was there something like this too, or did you like enjoy all the stuff?
No, I guess I quite enjoyed all the stuff. Like for me, it was maybe in that sense different because like I've never been a gymnast, or I've never been in the gym before, so I'd never touched any barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell, whatever. So for me, everything was new and exciting and fun to learn. And I mean, obviously, I wasn't good at everything from the beginning, and the one thing took a bit longer than the other. But no, I didn't have any particular movements or implements or weights or things that I was like, okay, I hate this, or I don't like this. No.
When I look at your placements, it's going up every year.
Yay. That's the stats I like to see. Yeah.
Was 2019 your first Open?
Yep.
That's interesting. First Open and like top 1,000 in the world.
Yeah, I did it. I did some workouts in 2018, but I didn't do them all. And like we just did them in our gym, so I don't even think we like filmed them, or maybe not even stuck to like all the specific like workout standards, movement standards. So I didn't log anything in 2018, and yeah, I started in 2019. with the first official Open.
Was
so
it this year?
That long ago.
Yeah. I think I have seen you before, but at the semifinal at the competition, I watched all the heave in the stadium, and I was like making notes. I want to have this athlete on and that athlete on and this one and this one. And then I did the research. And was the semifinal the goal this year?
Yes and no. Like obviously, my goal is still going for the game. So yeah, semifinals is only a logical progression to the game. Yeah. And from like the past 2 years of semifinals, I knew that was going to be a tough field. So semifinals was in that sense my peak for the year, because I knew that's where I have to deliver my best performance right now to just get through to the game. So yeah.
And when you come in, like I think you come in 2 places out of the qualifying positions for the semifinal. Is that oh shit, or there's someone is dropping out or going teams anyway, so I'm in? Is that?
It was a bit both. Like obviously it's an oh shit moment, because you just want to get there on your own strength. You don't want to be dependent of anyone dropping out or anyone getting injured, whatever. Like for me, I already kind of knew that it was going to be an uphill battle from the first workout, because I really screwed that one up. So that weekend was
200 place, yeah.
Yeah, not great.
What was the first workout?
It was with the wall facing strict handstand push-ups at the end. My nemesis.
Oh, okay.
No, but like the obviously when you get the 60-second place, you're like, fuck, that's not good. But then I knew some people that were in the list in the top 60, like Julia from Team noshortcuts, or what's her name again? Ingrid from Team Oslo. And I had like some other names that I figured were going team, and that I had like reliable information of going team. So with already those 2 places by Julia and Ingrid, I knew that I made it, but like I wasn't going to be happy or celebrating anything until I got the official invite. But that happened, luckily. So
do you get an email, or how is that working? Do you get an email?
Yeah.
And how far before the semifinal do you get that email?
In this case, because I think it was you had the week, or like the weekend where we had the quarterfinals, and then I think it was 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks after that the team had their quarterfinals. And then they had like the 1.5 week of video review and that kind of stuff. So when they got their invite, they had to accept the team invite and decline the individual invite. And from that point onwards, like they knew the amount of spaces that were available again, and they sent that out to the next best qualifying athletes. So I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later that I got the invite.
Interesting.
So still like reasonable amount of time to prep and like
hammer these workouts like 3,000 times.
Yeah, no, God, yeah. And we knew from being in 62nd place, like, and with the information of Julia and Ingrid, we knew that there would be like 99% chance. So obviously just gonna stay in prep mode until you get the possible note that you're not competing anymore.
I think there were like a significant amount of people like dropping out and things.
Yeah, because I think even up until 67th place or 65th, they were still competing.
65th, Suzanne, I had her on the show. She was going to the semifinal. I think Laurie Clement too.
Yeah, so I think even until 67th.
Yeah. Leah Stern, she was injured.
Yep.
She was dropping out.
Yeah, and there was I think Lucy McGonigal was in team. truly for no, I don't remember the exact names, but there were quite a lot of people going team or like Leah injured. Yep.
And what do you think? Are you happy with the semifinal? How it went, or?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I am. I definitely did feel very prepared going into the weekend. Like obviously, as you said, like we were the last of the 3 weekends. So yeah, we had some time to prepare and to practice and to strategize and to really get ready for everything.
Does that really suck, like being the last semifinal? Because you have basically so much time to like practice these workouts, like worry over it. Like, is that a disadvantage or an advantage?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to look at it that way too much, whether to really call it an advantage or disadvantage. I mean, it's just the way it is, and you're just gonna have to deal with it the way it is. If you're gonna be first weekend, you're gonna be first weekend, last weekend. Yeah, it's just the way it is. So with that being a given, you're just gonna have to prepare as well as possible. You have the advantage of knowing the workouts. You have the advantage of other people trying it first. You have the advantage of seeing where they fuck up or where they think of smart loopholes or whatever. So yeah, you're just gonna have to like flip that switch mentally that you're gonna be doing this for the next 3-4 weeks and just go with that, really. And it's a different way of preparation, obviously, than being the first weekend. Like the first weekend, for some things, you're just gonna have to be like, okay, this is it. This is gonna be a given.
They have to figure it out, yeah.
You have to figure it out on the go. And I mean, I think there's like there's an advantage in that sense in both of the situations. Like if you're gonna be in the first weekend, I think that is more of what CrossFit normally is, as in being physically prepared for anything and knowing, like having learned your body in workouts and in everything, that you know how to strategize or how to do things in the moment. So I guess I normally like that aspect of CrossFit, that you're just going to be put on the floor. Hey, you're going to be doing this. Good luck. See you in 10 minutes. But yeah, as I said, like we don't have the choice. So it's just really going with the information and the situation you're handed. So yeah.
Is that ever like rotating? I feel like the European region is the last one, like since forever, I think.
Yeah, weren't we? I think we were one of the earlier regions the year before that.
I don't know. Really? I feel like it's every time it's the same. Like Australia begins, and then Europe is basically the last one. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Maybe I didn't pay attention. I don't know.
I don't know if I had that in my mind.
If that's the case, then that's the case. We're just gonna have to roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Like you went out with a bang, like 11th place on the last workout. Was that your jam, or were you like, fuck it, I'm gonna leave out?
No, that was definitely the workout that I was looking forward to the most also. And my coach is still mad at me for that.
Why?
Well, we had the sandbag that we had to drop over the line, but then you also have like the tag on your ankle, and you have to like step on the finish mat to make the timer stop. Stupid me. I dropped the sandbag and I was like walking and waving and being happy.
And didn't step over the line?
And it took me like, I think 1 or 2, maybe even 3, no, not 3 seconds, but like 1 or 2 seconds for me, like, oh fuck, I need to step on the mat.
Oh.
That cost me a couple of seconds, and it cost me a couple of places.
Let's see. What basically like seconds are really important at that workout, I think.
Yeah. Look, I got 4:27.
Where are you? Oh yeah, 26, 25. Like 2 seconds could basically like mean like 3-4 placements.
I know. Rub it in, please. So yeah.
But that's a learning experience, I guess.
It is. I still have that note from him, never do that again. I still have that in my backpack. I'm never forgetting that again.
This leaderboard is weird. Like, why is Leah Stern
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
at the second place with 0 points?
That's interesting.
That is weird.
Yeah, that is. But yeah, that was the final workout. It was the one that I was looking forward to most ahead of the weekend. And I had like, especially the workout before, like the sixth one with the legless rope climb thing. I had a bit of a fluke there. So for me, it was like the perfect example for me to start the workout fresh, turning the page.
Oh, you got
And
capped there.
yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it that was with the legless rope climbs, was it?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a really interesting workout at the floor.
Yeah. It was. It's I don't know what happened. I just completely like my forearms and my biceps, they just completely blew up. And I made, because it was, I think it was 2 legless rope climbs, right? 2 seated.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I made the mistake of like the first one was already feeling quite challenging, but still like okay-ish. And from practice, I knew that I needed to take like a certain rest interval, and they were feeling a bit like more challenging than they did in the practice. So I took a little longer. But then like I should have known in the moment, or I should have felt from my body that I needed even a little bit longer than that, because I jumped up too early, failed the rep. Then I think I failed another rep, and I think I got it like on the 4th or the 5th try. But like, yeah, probably you also know when you're done with this. Like your forearms and your biceps are just going to give up.
Yeah.
And that cost me minutes. I spent minutes on the floor there. And yeah, that's just crushing feeling, really. That sucks. So
That was that on the at the competition, that was like a really interesting workout, because there were people who crashed and burned, like Sarah Sigmundsdottir, or
me.
people who crushed it, and there was so much strategy in it too, and it was really interesting. Like people who paced it really, really slow. Like I had Susanne Treppner on last week, and she was telling me, yeah, I was so worried that all the fans were like, what the fuck is this girl doing? She takes like, I don't know, during that's like 3 minutes. But I told her at the venue, it wasn't like that at all, because you watched and you felt like, oh yeah, this is pacing, this is interesting. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, I think for the people who know, like who can do legless rope climbs or who can do wall facing handstand push-ups, like you know the trickiness with those movements, and that you have to really be careful to not overdo it. So yeah, I think they know what's going on if you're taking a little bit of extra rest.
Yeah. And when you practice this, are you practicing the entire thing or just movements? And
that of course depends on how much time you have. But in this case, we had quite a lot of time. We had like time to, we had time to run through each event like 3, maybe even 4 times. So when you have the opportunity to do them so often, you don't want to do every workout 4 times, because you're going to be maybe not even physically, but like mentally burnt out from doing those workouts so many times. So we had like a build up from the events, like maybe first starting with the movements, starting with different volumes, different intensities, different time frames, interval workouts, like you name it, just to really first like get your body used to the movements, used to the intensity, used to the whole requirement of the workout, and then also kind of getting a feel for strategy, kind of getting a feel for the feeling of the workout, for the timing. And then you just build that out over the weeks. So that was basically our strategy there.
Yeah, and at the competition, I guess it also plays like in factor how where the workouts before went, and it's an entire different thing than in practice, I think. I want to talk about two things. Like this was your, I think it was the end post, like to
Yep.
recap the weekend. A
Yeah.
weekend of happy memories, applying new methods and growing as an athlete. This has been a bit of a wild season. It wasn't the smoothest ride to get to this point. What does that mean?
If you know, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What has been the new methods you've been applying?
I have started working with a new coach about a year ago. And I mean, obviously, we're still doing CrossFit. It's not like we're doing something magnificently different or anything. But he does have a different approach to training that I was used to, or a bit of a different buildup of the year that I was used to, a bit of a different way to approach learning new skills or building volume or approaching workouts or approaching athlete life. So yeah, as I said, it's been a season of a lot of new things and a lot of growing as an athlete in general, not just in the physical part, but really also in the mental part or in the lifestyle part.
So are you like Tommy? You have your own coach and own programming and not doing the no shortcuts training?
Yep, I have my own coach. And he worked together with Andre during my time that I was there at No Shortcuts. And he worked together with Yuri, my coach. He worked together with Andre in the preparation leading up to the semifinals to build that strategy that we were talking about earlier. Like, how do we approach the final few weeks? How do we prepare for the final few weeks? How do we prepare mentally, tactically, physically? So it's been a bit of a collective effort, but in the end, Yuri is my main coach, and he will program all my work, and he will be like the helicopter view, bringing all the different people together. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think like Andre is like, I feel like he's really like I don't know the English word. Like he has a,
You could say it in German, maybe, I know.
he is angesehen. Like he has a his person is like really appreciated in the European community. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. No, I know the German word for it, but now I don't know the English word for it either.
Yeah.
Google Translate.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
he has
he has a certain status, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
This is great.
Viewed. Okay, that's not a good translation.
I know.
Respected. That's good.
Yeah, that's
respected,
good.
respectable.
Yeah.
Reputable.
Reputation. That's a good one. No,
yeah,
he I think he does. I mean, I have gotten to know him obviously a lot better over the past half year. So I can confirm that for me from a personal level now as well. But like obviously he has been one of the most successful European male athletes of the last few years. And I think he always has he has a certain charisma and a certain poise over him. Like he's a really well-rounded, calculated, well-prepared athlete. And that just shines through in how he carries himself in the events itself, but also like during the workouts and during the whole preparation phase, or the media outings that he does, or the way that he carries himself on social media, or that he expresses himself. It's just it's a well put together picture from him, and he does that really good.
Yeah.
And it is really who he is also.
Yeah. And I feel like when I had him on, he was telling me that he is planning to build like the best training program out there. And I feel like this year he put the no shortcuts training on the map. There were so many all of a
definitely.
sudden there were so many athletes like from his camp like going to the games.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I think this year has been so good for him. Personally, obviously on a really personal level, with like raising his baby and really growing the brand. But then now there's also, as you said, like so many cool athletes and in different divisions as well, because like he now has Belinda as a masters athlete. He had a team, another team besides his own team at the semifinals. You have, of course, Jelle and Rebecca and Manon, like the amazing European individual athletes, not only smashing it at semifinals, but like doing so good at the games. So I think his program was even now like one of the top 10 programs with athletes at the games.
Yep.
So yeah, that vouches just for his program and for what he's doing. So I'm really proud of that for him, and I'm really happy of that for him. For sure.
So have you went up there for the training program? Was that in Denmark at his place?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, we had to be there for the Open, of course.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. So we were there for the Open because Tommy and I were the backups. And then we had another training camp prior to the semis that we went there. So I've been there twice this year.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Good new experience. Good new experience for me as an athlete as well, because I guess for me, it's now really transitioning into something more and more and more serious every day. And I am going to have to change what I was doing to something new, and to really surround myself with those types of athletes and with those types of people, to really get to that next level.
Is it really that different? Like, if you're surrounded by these people?
I would say so, yeah. I would say so. It's because when you become that top athlete, it's not just about training anymore. And it's not just about how hard you train or how hard you work or how physically fit you are anymore. Like, yeah, it helps having them in training and having the right program and having smart people. Like having those people providing your trainings for you, providing like with valuable physical tips. But it also becomes so much more on the mental and the strategic and the strategic part of training, but then also the whole life outside of training and living with those people who are already functioning at that level and are already competing at that level. The whole just vibe that brings with it, and the routine and the habits that you pick up from that are just super valuable, that you don't get in an environment with less experienced athletes.
Interesting. Yeah, I think like the mental part, it's got to be more than like 10 or 20% on the top level.
For sure, and especially on the competition floor. Like in daily life, it's even in that sense a bit different, but like how you are able to perform when there's the people around you and when there's the pressure of the competition around you, that is on that day so much more a mental and a strategic thing than just a physical thing. So yeah, being able to perform in the moments that you need to be able to perform, that is a whole different skill of its own. Yeah.
Do you know why you compete? Have you been always like compatible, or why do you
I think
competitive? Why do you compete?
I'm very compatible. Why do I compete?
What is compatible?
I mean, yeah.
Something different.
Something different. No, I like being good at things. I like learning the new things. I like getting better at things. So I guess I would say that I like training more than I like competing. But competing is in that sense sort of objective way or an objective measure for me to measure that growth and to really test myself in that growth. And yeah, like obviously when you're in this, you're also in this for the performance and for the international competitions that come with it, and you want to be able to go on that stage and showcase that work and showcase how fit you are and showcase what you can do. So in that way, I am very competitive and I want to be there and I want to show myself and other people that I can be there. But overall, I love training. I could just do that for the rest of my life, no issues.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, that's a really cool like statement, like showing you want to show what you've been working on.
Yeah.
And get
yeah,
like,
and I mean, there's something addicting about that, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Like I was, let's say, 30th this year. I want to be better than 30th next year. Or I was so close to this, or I was so close to qualifying for that. I want to get it this time.
Yeah.
That's definitely part of the whole competitive question as well, of course.
There are rumors that the semifinal next year will be in Berlin again.
Oh, really?
Do you think that's a good thing?
Good thing. Yeah, I guess. I mean, the venue, if it's in the same venue, especially, like the venue was really cool. It really gave like the whole arena vibe. There were spectators like towering over you. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And there is something about the German crowd. Like I also experienced it at the German throwdown last year and the year before already. There's just something about the German crowd. They are like, the stadiums are always so packed and they're there early morning, late night, cheering for everything and everyone. And yeah, it's a pretty cool vibe. It's a pretty cool energy to be literally surrounded with. So yeah, if it happens next year in Berlin, I'm perfectly happy with that. Yeah, surely.
Yeah. No, last thing I wanna talk about.
Right.
Like, I think this is from the German throwdown, isn't it?
It is. This is 2021. Yeah.
And it's basically like about like girls supporting girls at the competition, like the sportsmanship and like the respect you guys put on each other, but also like being focused on the moment. And I was thinking, like, is that really like the vibe in a women's field at the European level? Like, is that also the case like in Berlin at the semifinal when all these 60 fittest athletes from Europe come together? Is there, of course it's like a competition and there has to be focus, but is it also like a I don't know how to say that, like we're all coming together to like celebrate each other too?
I mean, yes and no. Like everyone handles themselves or carries themselves or needs different things on a competition day or a competition weekend. There is, I would say, a bit of a difference between like a 1 weekend competition of the German throwdown, like this one in the picture, or like a really important qualifying weekend for, I guess, everyone's biggest goal in the season, the game. So everyone, like every athlete, like needs different things for themselves. Some people, like when you get nervous, everyone reacts differently. Some people get like really bubbly and like funny and want to talk to everyone to just kind of push away the nerves like that. Some people get really like closed up into themselves. They don't want to talk. They have like their war face on. And I guess as like not only an athlete, but just as a person in general, you, I guess, kind of feel that from a person, what they need at the time, and you respect that from the person, because everyone that is there at semifinals, you know what kind of work they put in to be there. You know that you can respect them as an athlete because you're not just going to be able to, I guess, enter that group of people. So as an athlete, you just respect that person in the work they put in and what they're there to do and what they need for themselves to be there to do that. So if that is being a bit more quiet or having their war face on, you're just going to be more quiet and have your war face on. That's fine. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. If you do want to talk, that's fine. Maybe they just had a very good event. Maybe they just had a very bad event. Everyone also carries themselves very differently in those situations. So I guess unless they're being like, I don't think there's ever an excuse to be really disrespectful with whatever happened in a previous event or whatever to other athletes. But unless someone is being very disrespectful to you or your place or whatever, then I guess there is a lot of mutual respect between athletes. Yeah, for sure. And as a person, everyone wants everyone to do their best. But as an athlete, everyone wants to win. And I think that, no, yeah, let's be honest about that.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think all the people that are there know that from each other. So you know that each one of us has that mentality. So you can support each other's successes and you can be happy about anyone's achievements. But at the end of the day, you want to win. So if that takes you from beating them, I'll happily beat them in the competition on the competition floor. But yeah, if they beat me and I couldn't do better, yeah, what am I going to do about it? Or the other way around. So yeah, I guess that's a mindset that most of the athletes that are there know that and have that, and everyone can respect that from each other.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thing about the sport, that you can only like control what you do.
Yeah, up to a certain point for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's enough, it's enough. And then if not.
Yeah, and I think athletes who mentally have that together and mentally have that mind space, they know that, and they will be more relaxed in their attitude towards other people, or they will be more respectful in their attitude towards other people because they know that it doesn't matter for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's also, yeah, phases that people are in, or certain ages, or mental development, or whatever, that aids that process of getting to that level of confidence or getting to that level of mental calmness or whatever. But yeah, everyone's there at different stages in their life and different stages in their athlete life. But in general, I would definitely say that there is a lot of mutual respect between athletes there. Because we all know what it takes to get there, and because we all know that we work really hard, and yeah, you want other people to do well, but you want to win. That's basically it.
No, I think that was a good ending sentence.
And
thanks for coming on. That was really fun.
It was. Thank you. The hour really flew by.
Yeah. Has your table arrived?
It was so stupid. I texted you yesterday, like, oh, maybe we're going to be interrupted by the delivery of my new dining room table. I'm going to be moving places soon, so I'm like just ordering all the stuff coming in right now. But it came in before the podcast, luckily, so no interruptions.
Because my door just rang, and I was like,
really?
yeah, is that the table or no?
No, it already came before the podcast, luckily, so all good.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna stop the recording.